I was asked to write a column in a newspaper as myself, and I thought that was horribly exposing and embarrassing. So I said I'll make up this anonymous character, exaggerated. The trouble is that now everyone thinks she's me anyway, which is far worse.
When Helen Fielding started writing the columns and then the book, a lot of women were very happy because she put her finger on something that was a worry, i.e. that there were so many women in their 30s who weren't married or who were still single. I remember thinking, fantastic, fantastic, it's a social phenomenon, it's not just me.
Why is it there are so many unmarried women in their 30s these days, Bridget?
A woman today feeling, she's reaching her sell-by date is a sort of almost like a taboo thing that no one had quite dwelt on before in mainstream literature, or certainly not the last 20, 30 years.
I've sat at home sort of wailing and going, I shall never marry Anne.
Hey, Bridge, how's your love life?
When people do talk about being single, it is kind of like slightly defensive, like, well, the reason I'm single now is because, or, well, I'm having a time off because, I need to look, whatever it is. But, yes, it's kind of stigmatized, isn't it?
Essentially, that's what everybody feels but daren't admit, that really they all want the knight in the white charger to ride over the hill and rescue them, and desperately trying to be liberated and self-sufficient and really just want to leap into bed with a nice, handsome chap.
Women, because they've got so many more choices, they've got as much of a commitment problem as men, We want to have financial independence and we want to go out and enjoy ourselves for as long as we can. But we've also got the tick-tock of our biological clock, and we slightly shot ourselves in the foot because you can't have it all,
I think the reason why so many women all over the world have identified with Bridget Jones is that it's about the gap between how women feel they're expected to be and how they actually are.
What do you think?
Do you know where the toilets are? Huh?
We have so many images bombarded at us from the media that we're all somehow infected with this idea that we're supposed to be an anorexic teenage model who gets up in the morning and runs from the gym to the board meeting and home to cook dinner for 12 people and a perfect husband and children. That's not what life's like. When Bridget tries to do it, she ends up with wet hair and one foot in a pan of mashed potatoes shouting, "Oh, go fuck yourself," at the arriving guests.
I think she's extremely vulnerable, but at the same time she's very funny.
She represents, for so many people, a particular phase in life that we all experience at some juncture. She's such an easy character to relate to.
Skydiving, a dangerous sport indeed. Fame to farmers.
Let's face it, millions of people fell in love with the first film. All right, Cleaver, outside.
I'm sorry?
Will you step outside?
Oh, God. Darcy, do you have any idea what century we live in? I've never done a sequel before, and I think there was a certain sense of reluctance to do that, especially if the first one's been a success.
Indeed. Nothing illustrates Thailand's extraordinary fusion of East and West, of tradition and innovation, better than this. A full body-to-body massage. Sawadee krap.
And I'm having fun.
We were absolutely thrilled that it was as successful as it was.
Well, it's certainly a unique experience in my professional career, where most of the time one's grovelling around trying to get publicity and attention for one's movie, and here one's trying to steer it away.
No flash, please. Action!
We've had days when we've had 30 or 40 long lenses pointing at us. Quite extraordinary, the level of interest.
People in general coming up and saying, "Oh, we hear you're gonna make the new Bridget. Oh, I hope that you guys are gonna make the new Bridget. Oh, I really hope so. When's it coming out?"
I think it's a world that you find you just want to inhabit. You want to spend time with these people and see what is happening in their lives.
After watching the first one, I was looking at them and I just thought, yeah, I want to hang out with them. I think that's what happens with the audience. You just want to go have a beer with them.
Why are you backing her up?
We shared so much on the first project. To come back and get to do this again has been a real gift.
You've got to try to harness whatever it was that was so loved about the first film and take those elements and develop them in some way that's hopefully surprising still.
We started developing a script, all saying to ourselves, we'll only make this movie if we can have a script that's as good as the first one.
Because you want this to be a film that needed to be made based on its own merit. We all want it to be a film that can stand on its own.
I also think, because these characters are known and we've seen them function and we've seen it work, I think it's inspired people to some extent on the writing front to do interesting things with them.
You could do a lot worse than John Currin. He is just about the only contemporary painter who can actually paint. There's always something interesting and allegorical going on. Plus, of course, there's a huge perv quotient. Look at these two. I mean, what do we think? Are they just good friends? Or are they going home to a hearty fish supper? It's hard to say, and the same applies to these two.
And also, we didn't want that to be just a carbon copy of a book that people had read that they then went to see, and there were no surprises. I think it's safe to say there are quite a lot of surprises in this film.
I think maybe 2 girls.
2 girls.
So I can see them.
Oh, are you sure you don't want 3?
It was a new kind of challenge to watch her enter the next phase of her life, so to speak, and maintain her essence, but become a little bit wiser.
Right, here goes.